Boy.
Get in the boat, boy.
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 We do it together. Son.
Hey, and welcome to the Ruby Tuesday. My name is Ruben, and this is my review for Netflix's original anime series, Pacific Rim: The Black. Let me know in the comments below, were you excited to see this? How hyped you are? Which is your favorite film? I presume it's the first one. But for now, let's get into it. A teenage boy and his younger sister search for their parents using a giant mobile weapon known as a Jaeger. This is an anime series based on the feature film Pacific Rim. So I'm going to do a spoiler ending review because I think there's some stuff to talk about, so look out for that one. But for now, this is non-spoiler. I'm just going to talk about whether you should watch it or like the kind of the main plots, what I enjoyed, that kind of thing, a general review.
Boy.
There are 7 episodes. They're about 20 minutes long, depending on the episode, because they kind of run up to like 30 minutes long. Initially, when I saw a trailer for this, I was taken aback a little bit by the style of animation, and that would probably be my only gripe initially when going into this. I was like, oh, it's one of those sort of styled animations, kind of shadow, kind of CG, and I wasn't sure whether I was going to like it. I have to say though, right from the beginning, there's an initial opening sequence with the parents. Obviously, the whole story revolves around about this brother and sister trying to find the parents, and so you see the initial chaos that brings that about. Obviously, they're in a Jaeger suit and they're fighting Kaiju and they're trying to save kids, and this whole big thing that initiates the Black. And so we have that initial fight sequences, but it was so intense and so very character driven. So a story like this, a film like this, it's a good example to take the first Pacific Rim, which is very much character driven, very much personal, emotionally driven through character development, and then you take the second one, which is kind of but more kind of younger, child friendly action Michael Bay. So you do get Michael Bay expositions and explosions in both films, but you really feel the character design, the character development from the first film, and the second one a little, not so much. I think that would be fair to say. However, in this one, I was expecting maybe that they were going to go for the more kid-friendly design and make it an anime that is available or rarely available to watch for all ages. And even though this is a 12, I would say be careful with showing your younger ones. If they're emotionally affected easily, you may want to watch it with them and decide whether this is for them, because I was so surprised at how dark this was. And that comes from really grounding your characters, so grounding your story in characters, developing the characters, so you get to see what makes these kids ticks. Now, I'm not talking spoilers, but I'm just kind of skirting over just minor things for maybe to be able to do a proper review. So that moment with the parents that they're gone, and it kind of skips over 5 years, and then it's basically 5 years later, and we see what the kids have had to go through to survive in this wilderness. And then obviously we have them, if you've seen any bit of the trailer, they get a Jaeger and they figure out how all that works. One of the things about the Jaeger that I feel was a must and a need is that the actual Jaeger has an AI named Lola, and she's a character that makes you like the Jaeger more. You care for this robotic mechanism because it's not just a machine that is helping them survive and punching kaijus. That is all good, but it really helps cement as another character, and you care for it at the end of the day. And I think that was a really clever story design, because rather than it just being a hunk of metal, you care for it as a character. And I really liked the character of Lola, so I thought that was a clever way to go. You have the development of what the brother and sister go through. Obviously, really, it touches base with the lore of what's gone on already in the films, what we kind of know about drifting, and it picks apart and kind of develops that more. We've seen, the mixes of certain parts of the films where a certain Jaeger pilots can drift or ghost drift themselves a little bit. That comes into play a little bit. So they're picking, parts to make it feel like it's definitely part of the world, which it totally is. This is a collaboration between Legendary and Netflix, and that feels great. Also, Guillermo del Toro's obviously again hand his hand in this. So the creature designs themselves are fantastic. They're new, they're different, which I really like. All of them are very, 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 very cool. One of the things that makes this series work is that you never really feel like the kids are winning. They're always just trying to survive. So there's an intensity to the storyline that is just consistent. They're also not afraid to kill in this series, and they're also not afraid to show some blood. So the reality of the world that they live in is very much realized. You know, you don't quite know who's going to survive. There is somewhat plot protection for the main characters, but you also feel like they're in intense danger the whole time. So that keeps you on the edge of your seat. You're clicking over to that next episode consistently. One of the other things that makes the series great is the score. One of the big hype action moments, the classical kind of action sequence moments that you get in the Pacific Rim films, especially the first one, that feels like it's very much evident here in the anime as well. It's very much character driven, plot driven, story driven. So when you get those heightened, intense kaiju Jaeger moments, you know, when those big battles that we're totally going to get, you're obviously going to get that in this. The music crescendos into something quite magnificent, and then cleverly you get a bit of the score that you've probably come to recognize as the theme for Pacific Rim embedded in there, which I thought was really, really great. It also does its own thing, so to kind of differentiate itself from the films to the anime, which is something I wanted them to do. It's an anime set in the universe, but you want the story to kind of, you know, be its own thing and kind of be a part of that world, maybe hark to some of the other things, and I think they've done that really well. So, you know, taking off all the greatness of this, we have great character development that's grounded in character. So when you get to the battles, you care about it. The animation takes you maybe 20 seconds because, again, they're grinding it. And so you kind of go, okay, this is what they've done with it. I'm just going to sit with it. And eventually you just kind of go, yeah, that's pretty cool. And then you get the vibrancy of the colors, the world that they've made real for you, the viewer, because you're willing these kids to survive. And so you feel like you're on this ride. So it's kind of ticking all the things that you want from an anime as well. I would say I watched this in English. I don't even know. I didn't even check whether I'm pretty sure it was filmed in English. The audio is English. So I would say that even though it isn't an anime, I know some people are like, how can you call this an anime? I think some of the studios involved are anime makers, so which is why they call it an original anime rather than just an animation series, or animated series. So I think there is that, although I know some people are like, this is not anime, more. However, whatever you think, I think this was fantastic. I'm definitely giving it an A+. You know, that was me trying to find pieces to pick it apart, to take it down from an A+. And then the more I came back to it, I was like, no, I really enjoyed this. I could totally stick this on right from the beginning and probably be invested in those characters again, even though I know what's happening, because now I want to see what's happening in the background with the animation. I want to see what other kind of tidbits I missed in the lore, and there's a lot going on there. I'm looking forward to talking the spoilers, because I think there's a lot to talk about there as well. So apart from having a really interesting story and having a kind of fruition, but also leaving us wanting more, one of the things that will make a really good story is having a bad guy. And so you're thinking, well, hang on a minute there, Ruben, we've got loads of bad guys. Kaijus. Yeah, but Kaijus are just part of this world. We know that story. They've got to survive that. You need a good bad guy. And we get that in the form of a man named Shane. Shane, not the cowboy. And I thought he was excellent because he really, really comes across as just a nasty piece of work. Not a lot is known about him, so I'm presuming, hopefully, if they bring that character back into the storyline, we'll get more about him, they'll develop him. I could have done with more development, but from what we know about his character, he just comes across as a really nasty piece of work, and that is a thing that you need for your good guys to feel good, to be intense in the storyline. You need to have a really good bad guy. So we have all these kaijus that are trying to kill everything in their path, and then we have Shane. There's a few other things I'd like to talk about, but we'll do that in spoilers. So yeah, I thought it was fantastic. Very, very, very good. Definitely put it on your list. If you love anime, you're probably going to love this. I was emotionally engaged and taken back. I was surprised by certain beat moments in this anime, and I think you will be too. was very fun. So chat to me in the comments below. Let me know which is your favorite character so far in this anime, and do check out my spoiler review. Thanks so much, but most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.